Okay, let's get right into it. What if I told you there's a simple, unbelievably powerful mental tool that could change your entire day? But it's so simple its own creator, and get this, completely forgot he even invented it. Today, we're talking about the ladder of consciousness. So, picture this. A guy is just minding his own business in a grocery store when a woman comes up to him. She says she took one of his courses years ago, and there was this one thing he taught that completely changed her life. She still uses it almost every single day. And that one thing she remembered? She just called it the ladder. And here is the kicker. Standing right there in the cereal aisle, he had to just nod and smile like he knew exactly what she was talking about. The truth? He had absolutely no memory of the ladder. This idea had transformed her life, and he couldn't even recall coming up with it. How wild is that? So, where did this powerful but totally forgotten tool even come from? Let's dig into the origin story, because it's almost as interesting as the ladder itself. You see, this idea wasn't some grand, planned out theory. Nope, it was a total flash of inspiration. The creator was reading a philosopher named Colin Wilson, who talked about a ladder of selves, this idea that we're basically different people at different levels of consciousness. At the same time, he was deep into Dr. George Pransky's work on how our mood completely shapes our reality. Well, in the middle of a course, someone asked a question, and he just mashed these two ideas together on the spot. And boom, the ladder was born. So what is this ladder, really? Well, think of it as a simple visual for the different states of mind we all float between every single day. It's like a map of your moods. Let's start down at the bottom and climb our way up. Okay, so at the very, very bottom rung, we've got fear. This is our most primitive reactive state. When we're down here, we're in pure fight or flight. Good ideas, compassion, a sense of humor, they just can't exist on this level. We're just not playing with a full deck. Now, one little step up from fear is anger. And what's so interesting about anger is that it's usually just a mask for some kind of fear underneath. Think about road rage, right? You're not really mad at the car itself. You're reacting to a threat. I mean, if a little butterfly cut you off in traffic, you wouldn't get angry, would you? Of course not. Climbing up another rung, we land on worry. Worry is basically a chronic, low-grade, slightly more manageable version of fear. We all have this incredible gift, this superpower called imagination. And worry is what happens when we use that superpower to create horror movies in our own head, starring ourselves. It's a total misuse of a gift. Right below the halfway point, there's resentment. And this is that chronic, manageable version of anger. You know, it's that feeling you're still carrying around from something somebody said 5 years ago. It is such a heavy weight, and it keeps us completely stuck on the lower half of our own ladder. And this brings us to this really important dividing line on the ladder. You see, the whole bottom half is a world of reaction and limitation. But the top half? Oh, that's a completely different world. That's a world of possibility, where we can finally tap into our creativity, our humor, and our compassion. And what's so cool about this is that we already get it. It's baked right into our language. We talk about feeling down or crashing. We talk about being uplifted or having high spirits. This ladder isn't just some made-up metaphor. It's reflecting a reality we're already describing every single day. Okay, so we get the different rungs, but here comes the most important part. You are not stuck anywhere on this ladder. You have the power to climb. The only question is, how? Before I give you some cheat codes, just take a second. Think about it for yourself. What are the little things that, for you, reliably lift your spirits? What moves you into a better state of mind, even just a little bit? The guy who came up with the ladder had this cheeky little acronym, LSD. No, not that LSD. It stands for laughing, singing, and dancing. Laughter literally opens up your mind. Singing, or even just humming, is an ancient way to shift your mood, and it is nearly impossible to stay depressed when you're physically dancing to music. But maybe the most powerful ladder climber of them all is helping someone else. There's this amazing scientifically documented thing called the helper's high. When you genuinely help another person, your brain releases endorphins. You feel better. It's a biological fact. Shifting the focus off of your own stuff and onto someone else is a guaranteed way to climb. Okay, so we know how to work on our own ladder, but what about when we're trying to connect with other people? This is where this tool gets really interesting, because we can use it to build bridges in our conversations. Let's play out a scenario we've all been in. You're having a great day. You're way up high on your ladder, feeling optimistic, feeling creative.
But the person you're talking to, your friend, your partner, whoever, they're way down on their ladder, totally stuck in worry. There's this huge gap between you. So how on earth do you connect?
This quote just absolutely nails it. See, our natural state, our factory setting, is to be at the top of the ladder, feeling creative and relaxed. Being on those low rungs is like gripping the string of a helium balloon with all your might. So the goal isn't to pull someone up, it's just to help them relax their grip so they can float up on their own. So the goal isn't to give advice from way up high on your ladder or to try and fix them. It's so much simpler than that. Just help them relax. And how do we do that? Well, it really just comes down to two simple steps. First step is relatedness. When someone tells you they're struggling, our first instinct is often to offer a solution. Instead of that, just try to relate. Say something like, "Oh man, I get that. I've totally felt that way before." It instantly removes that feeling of judgment and shows you're right there with them. That is incredibly relaxing for people. And the second step is commonality. So many of us walk around thinking our problems are weird and that we're the only ones feeling this way. So when you say something like, "That is such a common feeling," or "So many people I know struggle with that," you take all the shame away. You show them they're not alone. And that normalization lets them relax their grip even more. So let's bring this all home. Why does this simple little ladder matter so much? What's the real point of all this? It's because the best parts of life happen at the top of the ladder. Real connection, deep conversations, creative breakthroughs, genuine insight. That stuff can only happen when we're in that higher state. By learning to climb our own ladder and gently helping others float up theirs, we move our whole lives out of a world of reaction and into a world of shared possibility. So I'll leave you with this question. Just take a second right now and ask yourself, where am I on my ladder? And, knowing what you know now, what's one tiny thing you could do? Laugh, sing, help someone to just climb one single rung higher. You'd be amazed at how that one small shift can change everything.